So originally I was going to wear a mask, and then I realized I don't own one. I must admit, when I saw the trailer for this film, I was extremely hyped. What I saw was Assassin's Creed 3, but good. Thankfully, I was blessed with the opportunity to go see Beyond the Mask before its release, and let me just say, I set the bar too low. The film starts in England, 1775. William Reynolds, played by Andrew Chaney, as a former assassin, he wants to leave his old life and move on to a new one. Charlotte Holloway, played by Cara Kilmer, meets William and kind of throws a wrench into his whole plan. However, William's old boss, Charles Kemp, played by, and please don't hate me if I say this wrong, John Rhys Davies, he was in Lord of the Rings, has grander plans for America, and none of them include William being alive. Alright, before we dive into the whole review, let me cover the content. There is violence in this movie. There's a lot of hand-to-hand combat, there's firing of muskets, you do see some dead bodies, but there is no blood. Other than that, there's no language, no nudity, and no sex. Nothing else to worry about. Beyond the Mask hits a home run in a variety of aspects, but let's tackle the most important, the story. Now, I know I already laid the plot out for you, but let me just say, the story goes along at a nice pace, and at no time was I left bored. In fact, I was intrigued the entire time to see what was going to happen next. I want to also add that the flashbacks that William Reynolds has to his old life as a former assassin give the audience a much needed layer of depth to the character. You now know what he used to experience and why he wants to move on to a new life, but he has trouble fighting his old demons, and that's metaphorical, not literal. The film definitely succeeds in showing, not telling. I must applaud John Rhys Davies for his portrayal of Charles Kemp. He is a grand villain, and you can tell he's having a good time with what he's doing. He's not one-dimensional, he has motivation for what he's doing, and I don't want to ruin anything else, just know that he plays a fantastic villain in this film. Do need to add that George Washington was miscast. The dude that they chose for George Washington does not look like George Washington. It was weird, and I mean, George Washington only had one or two lines, so I'm not sure why. He was just, it threw me off a little bit. Do you like action? Do you like when this action isn't meaningless? Then Beyond the Mask may be your cup of tea. There's much in the way of hand-to-hand combat, acrobatics, gunfire, CGI, and explosions. And let me add that the CGI at no time is cheap or cheesy. In fact, sometimes I had a hard time telling whether something was CGI'd or not, which is unusual. There are plenty of action scenes, and they never got old. Despite how much this film does right, there are some flaws, and I'd be remiss not to address them. First thing is how William and Charlotte fall in love. It kind of just happens without real reasoning. We see them meet, she takes care of him for a little bit, and then there's like a montage of them walking, and then they're in love. I didn't get it. I don't understand why they're in love. I guess because they're both beautiful. I'm not too sure. It felt kind of shallow, and it felt like it was just needed for the plot to progress. Also, there was a few parts, mostly in the beginning, where the dialogue felt a bit weak. And the reason being is because people would be speaking to William, and William doesn't say all that much. And it's like, William, dude, speak up, answer their questions. It was a bit annoying, but later on that gets fixed too. That was mostly in the beginning of the film. Lastly, there were a few scenes that were meant to inject some humor in the film, and I see what they were trying to do, but the humor just falls flat. It's the execution, it doesn't come out right. It's just more of like, roll your eyes. There's only a couple of those, and it wasn't all that major. Now, I know what some of you are wondering, what's the Christian content in this Christian movie? It is a faith-based film. God is mentioned many times, and William is not a Christian at the beginning of the film. William thinks that to get rid of his old life and to move on, he has to do it his own way. He has to get redemption, revenge, all that good stuff on his own. And along the way, he learns that there's no way he can do it. He needs God's grace to move on and just wipe away the sins of his past. It's not in your face, and if you're looking for one of those films that's all in your face with its message and just shoves it right there and it puts it above the story, that's not this film. The film puts story above that. And it's, trust me when I say it's much better that they do it. At no time are you going to question whether this is a Christian film, but at the same time, it's a film you can definitely show to other people, and it doesn't feel like they're getting preached to. So, is Beyond the Mask a better version of Assassin's Creed 3? Yeah. I know it's weird to compare the two, but I know some of you were wondering, so I had to tell you. When I say this, I'm not saying this lightly. Beyond the Mask is my favorite Christian film to date. Faith-based film, whatever. It is the best. And in fact, it's definitely in the top 5 of my all-time films. Back to the Future is number 1, just so you have a reference. Beyond the Mask is so good that it's hot courageous, and that was my favorite film for the past like 3.5 years. The mixture of story, action, adventure, and God actually left me with goosebumps by the time the film was done. It all mixes together so perfectly, and I would recommend this film to anyone, Christian or not. So if you have kids and you're a little bit worried about the content, just know there is some violence, but otherwise I would recommend it to everybody. Go watch it, and I really hope there's a sequel. Hashtag Beyond the Mask 2. Hey guys, thanks for checking out this video review of Beyond the Mask. I hope you enjoyed it. I know my voice probably sounds a little bit weird. It's because I've been sick the past week. But regardless, know my voice is usually better than this. Check us out at geeksundergrace.com and subscribe to this channel. That'd be fantastic. In the future, we will have more movie reviews. This is not the only one. This is not an anomaly. We actually have a guy who's going to be posting reviews on a regular basis, so we hope you're looking forward to that, as we are. I know usually I have a cut like right in the middle of a sentence, and I wasn't